Hey guys, this is Hawk. Welcome to the stream. How are we all doing this Wednesday evening? Looks like we've got Anne and Pablo and Venus and Tara all in chat. Welcome everybody. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. I got Tara with some Hey Hawks in there. That is the one custom emote that I have in Twitch. I just don't spend the time on some of the things. There's just so much going on. Anne is first, Pablo is second, Venus asks a complicated question, and then says hello and happy, or good evening. So doggo, complicated is the complicated question is how is the doggo, which of course is why the very first stream of this, we ended up canceling out of a combination of issues. I was having some serious lag issues with the game, which I mentioned in the last stream, turned out to be Windows updates. I applied Windows updates, and then everything seemed to go just fine. So that was seriously lagging everything. As far as doggo, well, doggo, I guess to preface this, I took the doggo to the emergency vet in June, found out that she had a pancreatitis at the time. She was having some issues at the time, and I took her to the emergency vet, found out she had pancreatitis, which was fixable, but she, at the time they did kind of an ultrasound. Windows updates are mad sometimes, yeah, for sure. Anyway, so they did an ultrasound at the time, and they found out she had a whole bunch of cancer tumors. And so the night that I was streaming that we cut it early, and I said that she was walking around like she was drunken, she was actually having seizures. And so I ended up taking her back to the emergency vet, and they've determined that there was additional cancer tumors on her brain, which is what was causing the seizures. And she is sadly no longer with us. So Venus, thanks for making me want to cry at the start. No, totally just messing with you. I mean, I posted in Discord. I said it's been a rough couple of days for me. So being the big dog person that I am, so sorry to hear the Hawk. Thanks, Tara. Anyway, but anyways, we are jumping back in. We're going to not dwell on. No, I know. I expected somebody would ask about it at some point. It's totally fine. It's totally fine, Venus. It wasn't your intention. I understand that. Everybody, normally if you mention something about one of your animals, people want to know the results of it. So like I said, I was expecting at some point. We love you. Oh, thanks, Tara. Love you guys too. But anyways, so it's been a sad couple of days for sure. It's been a struggle. So anyways, we are going to be hopping back in though. Let's try to move through that because, well, we don't want Hawk to turn into a complete and total mess. So I did right before we started here, I actually took some time, like I tried to do with Galley House, and I kind of went through some of the evidence to kind of have a starting point, because when we ended last time, we were in a little bit of a sticky situation as far as not really having a bunch of things to necessarily search. And so there was a couple things that I made notes of here. First of all, I kind of went back through some of these things. There's a bunch of things that they don't list that they've got connections on them anymore. This thing is this is the highest value thing that we have. And it says your intuition for this piece of evidence. So we need to look at this. And I did take a look at this. And there's a couple things I think here. First of all, I don't think we ever looked up Peter Jankovic. Did you put the settings back to normal? I remember we tried to do something. I thought that I did some of them. Yeah, they're back to high and everything. So I think the only thing is this was set to unlimited. I left it set to 60 because I only stream at 60 frames per second anyway. All right. We are going to start by looking up Peter Jankovic. We're going to spider search him. Seemed to be a music critic. You find him mentioned on a fan website about a band unrelated to the Roottrees. He used to work for Modern Music Monthly before the magazine went under. So that's another thing is I will have to start searching some of these periodicals as well. wrote a great many reviews and articles for Modern Music Monthly. You don't see anything relevant anywhere in the first few pages of results, and there are too many results to look through them all. If you're looking for specific album names or artist names, you may have better luck searching those instead. Okay, well then let's go back to the evidence here. We can search this. And say something funny. Yeah. My poor girl. She was 14. So I will give I mean I've had her with me for 14 years. The batch, quote unquote. I had a dog before her, and she was just a single dog. And then after she passed away is when I got this dog. And then I kind of built my little pack around her, and I put one of the other ones down because of cancer, ironically, last year. And so I only have my little dog left. She's all that's left of my little pack anymore. So, rolling on down to the city. One Hit Wonder. I think we read this already. I don't know if we ever looked up like Cherry Tree and Sounds of Laughter, though. I wonder if we should search in the periodicals. Like, periodicals. Can I look Cherry Tree? Can I look Rolling on Down to the City? Oh, okay. Well, it was supposed to be Rolling on Down to the City. A review and interview from 1979 titled A Reluctant Hitmaker, Jim Goes Into His First Band. Till a few years ago, Diamond and I were C&J and J&D with my cousin and his ex. Clark never knew his father. Wait a second. With my cousin and his ex. We'll look at that in a minute. Clark never knew his father, so our grandpop insisted he spend some time with my dad and me. As a result, Clark and I grew up like brothers. Diamond and Jane, on the other hand, are actually sisters. The four of us had a sort of a cutesy family band thing going on. Not our finest hour. Regardless, when Diamond walked in on Clark in bed with her younger sister, everything exploded. No more family band. The one thing Clark and I had in common was music, but even then we never agreed on what it should be. He was always more interested in catchy tunes, something you hum a week later. I've been told Rollin' is like that, but that wasn't my goal. When he called me up and said he liked it, I took it as a sign I was going in the wrong direction musically. That made him laugh, but I'm trying to make art. I don't mind saying any of this because he'd agree. For most of the decade, he was a mess, but he's a lot happier now. He started Raffer Tunes. Let's copy that. And he's not a much better jingle writer than a songwriter. One of the benefits of our famous family is a massive company willing to be a client. That's also how my father was connected to Roottrees. All of his old ad campaigns were hung on the walls over the record player, but I was never interested. I just went straight for the music. I guess Clark was paying more attention. Wait. That's also how my father was connected to Roottrees. I thought his father was a Roottrees. His father was a Roottrees. Okay, hang on. Was Diamond not with Clark? Yes. And that's another thing I wanted to take a look at here because... So, I didn't look at this yet, but we have this as the picture for Clark. I don't think it's correct. After I'm looking at some of this stuff, and the reason is because I took a look a little more carefully at this. I was trying to figure out what the distinction was between these flowers they were holding between them. This is J and D, is what this is, I think, is what this is intended. So this would be Jim and Diamond over here, which means this is Clark and Jane. So I had originally put this as the dude with this as Jim because of the scruffy, but I don't think that that's Jim. I think that this is Clark. So I have you currently as this guy, which, like I said, this is the J and D. So this is Jim. So you should be Clark, I think. And then we give you... Oh, I can't add your other photo yet because we don't... Yeah. All right. So, let's read back here. So one was with the older sister, but was caught with Jane, the younger sister. No, I think it was... I'm not quite sure. So I thought... Oh, this is locked in. So this is actually correct. I think it sounded like they were kind of that Clark got together with Jane, and what's-her-face was pretty pissed about it, the sister. Because they were apparently a happy band with the two cousins and the two sisters, and then they found them together, and then they were a little pissed. All right, so... Oh, Clark got married 3 times, actually. We managed to get Jane in the right spot, though, so that's all correct. Now, we didn't go back... I didn't do the other article, or the other song yet. Sound of Laughter. This is some weird music. The album by Jim and Diamond, released in 1989. You can't even find a picture of the cover. It doesn't appear to have been very successful, and reviews seem middling even from fans. Some basic liner notes exist on a Jim Roottree fan page, and it states that the lyrics and guitar are credited to Jim Roottree and the vocals are credited to Diamond LaRue. All right, let's check it in here, though. Nothing relevant. Okay. All right, so... Also... Oh, did your interview go well? You're on to the second round. Good job, Tara. I think this is the music magazine. I found this on something, and I just wanted to double check it just to make sure. Yeah, Modern Monthly. Okay, because we can take this off of here. This is a magazine. Starlet. I found this in something too. Let's get... There we go. New periodical. Starlet was a magazine that started with the colorization of film and went until around 1964. Generally, it was a tabloid with a focus on famous actors and actresses. It didn't go into many other aspects of filmmaking or Hollywood news. And I think I found that in something for... I think it was one of these. It might have been this one, though. She talks about Gwen in one of these. I'm just trying to make sure I show you guys kind of where I found some of the things that I wanted to look up. She mentions at some point here, not even I can blame her for that. I've seen what she gets up to in Starlet. All right, so let's go over to the periodicals and let's pick Starlet and let's pick up Gwen Roottree. Was often in Starlet. Most mentions were around the time of her divorce in 1958 from Wild Bill Williams. The gossip is speculative and full of tabloid stereotypes. Some of it focuses on the fact that she announced her divorce. She also announced she was pregnant again. Others mentioned that the rumor is Wild Bill had multiple affairs, which left her heartbroken. There is also an interview from earlier in mid-1957 where she was asked about her last name. She answered, "The power of a name is undeniable. My grandfather constantly preached the importance of family names and honoring them. My father decided to bless me with a famous name. There's nothing wrong with Cornwall, but Roottree has power." All right, so we do know from her tree, she's a Roottree by her mother. So her father's last name is Cornwall. Let's see who's in... So her father's probably Linus Cornwall, because it's the only one in here. You only slept for about 4 hours the night before, so it's a miracle you get so nervous. Yeah, those things can be nerve-wracking for sure. Where were we? My husband similarly goes by Wild Bill. It's an infamous name he repurposed for himself because he didn't have the benefit of being born with the famous one, but Wild combines the alliteration Williams with the alliteration Williams is incredibly memorable. Although I've relocated to Paris, I know your readers love to keep up with my husband, so consider this a Starlit exclusive about both of us. Wild Bill and I have a child on the way, and we're sticking with Roottree for the last name, not Williams, but we also plan to lean into alliteration. That's how we'll honor both of our family names for the next generation. Okay, so this is interesting, because if you remember correctly, we actually have a... do we still have it in the notes? The Rootrees versus RR. So this was it was a law case where it said that somebody tried to have another family member removed from the Roottrees. I'm wondering if the RR, because they said they're sticking with alliteration, so probably whoever that... She has 2 sons. I'm assuming whoever it is our Roottree. Who do we have, as a matter of fact? Let's pop down here. We got Robert and Ronald. Oh, I bet they're both hers. If they're trying to stick with alliteration, I bet she has Robert and Ronald. All right, we can get rid of Starlit now. We've added it. She divorced Wild Bill. We've got Tessa. We got Roottree Motors. Raffertoons we just found somewhere. Did we even look this up yet? Hey, we got more evidence, guys. A website about Raffertoons, Clark Rafferty LaRue's advertising firm. On it, there is an about page, and you find a picture labeled the inspiration for the famous Super Bowl ad campaign. Below that is more detail. Clark was in a department store getting a family portrait with his wife and children, and when his wife was trying to get his youngest, Katrina, to calm down for the picture, he had the idea for the Roottree Super Bowl ad. The photo is now in your evidence. Okay, so he had... wife and children plural, and his youngest is Katrina. All right, we need to look up this. Let's change this. We don't need that anymore. All right, but we have his youngest. That's Clark. Okay, presumably then, so here's Clark. I'm assuming it's this one. Or no, wait. That's a marriage. Oh, no, these two aren't married. Okay, these are actually the siblings. Oh, gosh. Goodness. Whew. All right, Katrina. Katrina Rafferty LaRue. All right. Anne's fully here was multitasking. She blames me. Sure, Anne. Whatever. All right, do we have any other Rafferty LaRues? Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Why would her name be, unless he changed his name to Rafferty LaRue? Why would a child with this person be named LaRue? Clark, did you change your name? Oh, yeah, he did. Okay, I'm sorry. I missed that. All right, let's go ahead and look this up, though. Okay, nothing relevant there. All right, let's go back to this piece of evidence. Let's take a look at it. Okay. Let's get out here. Clark, you lost all your hair. All right, so we know that's Katrina. All right, Clark, we can't add additional photos for you because we do not have you locked in yet. I do, however, have you as a musician, so hopefully that is correct. Okay, what else do we have here? It doesn't want us to... It doesn't like... There's nothing here. What about Roottree Motors? Okay. This was one thing I wanted to make sure we were doing. Anytime this an actual business, we should be looking these up in Business Watch. Which is sadly nothing. Did we look up Roottree Candy Company? In 1959, there's a small blurb about Zach Morden, son of James and Gwendolyn Morden. Okay, so we got that right. We have not seen this, though. I'm certain of that. Because I filled this in just... Oh, we didn't even. Hang on. Son of James and Gwendolyn Morden. So we did not add James. The grandson of Elias Roottree inheriting the candy company. He's quoted as saying, Elias entrusted me to carrying on his legacy, and that's what I plan to do. Along with 5 pieces, our chocolate maple products are selling incredibly well. We will not be making any changes. And I just looked up Roottree Motors, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. All right, let's look up in Starlet. Let's look up Wild Bill Williams. Maybe we can get more details on his actual information. Wild Bill Williams was mentioned many times throughout the magazine's lifespan, with stories and gossip mostly about who he has been seen with in public. Blondes, mostly. 3 specific passages stand out. The first mentions one of his roles was under his real name, Walter Forsythe. All right. So, Walter Forsythe. Guys, we did a thing. Walter Forsythe. The second is an interview. Although he doesn't mention her by name, you determine from context he's talking about Gwen Roottree. And apologies to all the ladies I'm actually taken. Earlier this year, I did a friend a favor. He was directing a war movie and asked me to play a small part. Wouldn't you know it, that SOB cut me from the picture. I'm just ribbing. It wasn't his fault. Apparently, the studio didn't want to pay for a star of my caliber. I got the last laugh, though. I met someone. She spent most of the film crying. She was playing a soldier's wife. But even through the tears, she was incredible. I know I tend to have a reputation, but this one's true love. I only have eyes for her. Ironically, the third is rumor that his divorce from Gwen was due to multiple affairs, including one with another actress. An American reader on vacation in Paris claims to have overheard Wild Bill and Gwen arguing in public while she was holding a baby and visibly pregnant, not long after Gwen announced she was divorcing Wild Bill, and also that she was pregnant again, giving this rumor more credibility. Okay, so let's look up Walter Forsythe in Spider Search. You find some information on a website about old films, blah, blah, blah. We've read that part before. Walter Forsythe is listed in the cast of a movie called Gal in the Gang, which was directed by Bruce Throckmorton. It appears to be a low-budget comedy, but there's no other information about it anywhere else online. All right, let's put this here. And then let's look up Bruce Throckmorton. A prolific movie director who released a movie every year from the mid-1960s until his death on set in 1993. Sorry, I got the hiccup there for a second. Most of his movies could be described as camp, especially those from the early 1970s, although you noticed some critics seem to take offense with that characterization. One of his signature flourishes was to include a silly message a minute or two after a movie's credits ended. Most of these have been cut from the home video releases of his titles, so fans of his work have been trying to track down film prints to catalog them all. As fascinating as this is, it doesn't seem to be related to the Rootrees. Should we look you up in Starlet? Nothing relevant. All right, let's check Gal in the Gang. Nothing else new about that. All right, let's take that off then. All right, she divorced Wild Bill, which we know. Wait, so how many kids did Gwen have? She had 2. She had 2. It was 2 boys, and that we knew from this photo. This is Gwen, and these are her 2 sons. So, or at least that's what we're assuming that they are. All right. Oh, hey, look, we did actually get some stuff because remember we had that thing at the top, which was, I think, this thing. And that was the most valuable piece that we had. It's now down to a 7. So it's in line with the 5 pieces ad, which I'm still not quite sure what we're supposed to be getting out of this one. We do know. I'm trying to figure out what this is related to. There's 5 flavors because the original inventor had 5 kids. Maybe that's why kids still love them. We knew that this is... We can't flip it on the back, right? No. All right, so why is this so valuable? Like, we know that... Oh, here's a magazine. Maybe this is a big part of it. Teen Blast. I didn't even see this when I was looking through. Oh, gosh. Hey, new periodical added. A magazine aimed at teenage girls. Their website has a news section that offers condolences for the loss of the Roottree sisters. Their fashion line was often covered by our magazine, and Raina Roottree first appeared on the cover on her 16th birthday. All right, Teen Blast. Let's look up 5 pieces. That's an E pieces. Teen Blast has played host to many Roottree advertisements over the years for many of their products, including 5 pieces. They flood the results. One of them was already in your evidence. Okay. One thing I did notice is that when I went back and watched this stuff, I will say this too. Where's our evidence? So we looked up when we were first identifying the Roottree sisters. We looked up Carly and we looked up Raina. We never looked up Riley because we were able to fill everything in based on the other things that we found. Okay, there we go. There are a lot of obituaries that focus on the Roottree sisters' modeling careers. Okay, yeah, we did read this one. All right, so if we look these types of things up in Starlet, what did they, or well, even Teen Blast. The Roottree sisters appeared in many ads for both Candy and Root, Clothes, and Teen Blast. The search engine isn't the best, and so your results are flooded with page after page of nearly identical advertisements. Some ads specifically mention that Raina appeared once on the cover of Teen Blast. Right. So what you're saying is I should look up Raina instead. Hey, look at that. We did a thing. Did we get the cover? This has 7 connections to it. All right, let's put your face out there before we forget. Okay, we got it. 4 months until Christmas. Why are we counting down Christmas? Jeez, let's slow down. All right, there's an article about Raina Roottree from 1994. This issue also mentions TMS and Brother Trouble. I don't know what Brother Trouble is, but we're going to copy that and we're going to pop it out here. In an interview, Raina talks about her inspirations. One important thing I learned from an early age is that dreams are not outside of our grasp. My grandpa was a college professor. Ooh, wait, who's your grandpa? Was Clancy Roottree. Is Professor? Professor. There we go. We got a professor. We don't have a picture of him yet, but... All right. My grandpa was a college professor who taught lectures about history. He always told me that history was full of people and famous families who wasted their fame and fortune by taking it for granted. Instead, he told me I should go out and use my name to accomplish something. I think he may have practiced that lecture a lot because I have other people in my family that have also made the Roottree name famous for things besides candy. His older sister even wrote a book that some of my friends tell me they had to read in school. I took his advice and now I work with my mom designing clothing. I help decide what colors and patterns I want to model. Then she designs the clothes with a team of amazing men and women. Although my grandpa passed away earlier this year, Grandma Laura tells me that he was really proud of what we've managed to accomplish. All right, so I don't know who Laura is. Laura Carlson is the only Laura we have. And by the way, guys, Halloween first, slow down, right? Raina had sisters named Rose and someone else. Yes. So these are the Roottree sisters, Raina, Carly, and Riley. The thing that we learned in the tutorial is that Carly, she was named Carly because her dad's name was Carl, and they were going to name her Carl Jr. until they found out it was a girl, so they named her Carly Rose. And when she became a teenager, she didn't like the fact that her sisters' names both started with RH, so Raina and Riley, and so she started going by her middle name of Rose instead. But her birth name is Carly Roottree, and the family tree goes by the birth names. All right, so Carl, we still do not have... I don't know if he took over from... I mean, he would be next... Like, in the next generation, he would be after Zachariah Morden. I'm guessing you did not take the name of Roottree. I don't like this song. I forgot about this. Please skip. It hurts my ears. All right. What else are we looking up here? Brother Trouble. Let's search in Spider Search. A 1989 sitcom about two 16-year-old brothers the same age, one adopted, played by Tommy Mark Sheridan and Dustin Christopher Baker. Their single mother, played by stand-up Penelope Tessa Green, often had to navigate her job as a magazine columnist, as well as the troubles that come with raising two boys who were extremely competitive in sports, academics, and even romantic pursuit of their next-door neighbor, Roxy. The showrunner was small screen director Ron Roottree. That's interesting. Okay. So Ron Roottree, based on what we kind of figured out so far, where's my... Here. We figured that Gwen's, her son's names are probably Ronald and Robert. So it's probably one of these. I just didn't realize he was a movie director because we're all the way over here now. Raina married Thomas Sheridan. So maybe that's how she met him, is because her uncle? No. Whatever he was, some sort of cousin. All right, here we go. The show had strong ratings through the entirety of season 1, rocketing both Sheridan and Baker to instant stardom, mostly amongst the teenage girl demographic. However, it was canceled in 1991, midway through the second season, due to a significant drop-off in ratings. Okay, do we keep looking, like, do we look up Tommy Mark Sheridan? We're going to copy that and look him up in periodicals. We're going to look him up in Teen Blast. Tommy Mark Sheridan appeared on the cover of Teen Blast a record 38 times, including 3 back-to-back months during the height of Brother Trouble. In the issues he wasn't on the cover, he was still mentioned quite often. You read every word of every article, and besides the fact that he was married to Raina, only one thing seems relevant. A gossip section from 1996, about 8 months before their marriage, is called "Is TMS Dating a Roottree?" It says. A recent photograph signing TMS told a Teen Blast reporter that he met a girl at a party in Malibu. Apparently, the cast of Brother Trouble gets together at Penelope's house once a year, and this time TMS found love, the mega hottie had to say. She's incredible. She came to the party to meet me specifically, and I'm glad she did. She said she had a crush on me when she was younger. I told her I have a crush on her from her posters now. When our Teen Blast reporter asked who the lucky girl was, TMS refused to spill, but we did some digging. One of the creators of Brother Trouble, Ron, married Penelope, who played TMS's mom on the show. And get this, Ron is a distant relative. Okay. So Ron married Penelope Tessa Green. I just don't know. Which one is Ronald? Help me out, game. All right. Ronald Roottree. Stop it right now. Give me results. You're probably not in Teen Blast. What about modern... Well, you would be in music. What about Starlet? What about Butler County Times? No. You know, he was going by Ron, though. Ron Roottree is a small screen director and the head of RR Productions. He directed episodes of a few other shows before showrunning and creating a one-season hit, Brother Trouble. The show was canceled partway. All right, so RR Productions. Defunct production company responsible for Brother Trouble. You find a comment on an unSenate board. I'm assuming that's an unsent, or what is that supposed to be? Stating that Brother Trouble ended up being an ironic name considering the rumors about RR Productions, Ronnie, and Robbie Roottree. Okay, so this is also why we weren't finding his brother under Robert. You were probably under Robbie? There's not much relevant information about Robbie Roottree in a comment thread on a message board about television cliches. You find a thread called Why Was Brother Trouble Canceled? One user speculates, I think it's because the writing went really downhill in season 2. They actually had an episode where Roxy was addicted to sniffing markers. Another person replied, maybe it's due to the rumors about Robbie Roottree in Silver Screen Magazine. Silver Screen Magazine, okay. There's a link to some kind of article, but appears to be dead. How about we look up Silver Screen Magazine so that it ends up in our periodicals, except that we got to spell it properly. Yes. Yes, I did. There we go. Silver Screen Magazine was a Hollywood Insider's magazine focusing less on actors and actresses and more about the nitty-gritty of writing, directing, costuming, set design, film production, and other elements of filmmaking. You are also the one with the loud saxophone. It ran from 1983 to 1993. It was bought by a bigger, more recognizable magazine a few years ago, and the website now redirects to the new magazine. The new magazine doesn't appear to have any relevance to your case. All right, we're going to look up Robbie Roottree in Silver Screen. A small rumors. Oh gosh, what's going on over here in chat? Usenet, don't know what it is, but you know it's a term on the net. Oh yeah. A small rumors article from 1992 that claims that self-taught television screenwriter Robbie Roottree was allegedly tried and convicted under the name Robert in a French court of law. It seems he, again allegedly, embezzled from the company RR Productions to fuel a gambling habit that left him hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. He then flew to Paris, where he grew up, and then Silver Screen continues to insist this is all very much allegedly. Assaulted an officer who came to question him. The article's author says they were unable to get a statement from French authorities, but received information from an anonymous source and were able to confirm through public record that there was a trial involving a Robert Roottree around the time that Brother Trouble was canceled. Okay, it gives us the same article. What about Ron Roottree? There's an article about Ron Roottree from 1984 entitled Don't Blame Nepotism, He Gets Results. After finding some small screen success, first as the director for many soap opera episodes, and then stepping in as the showrunner to turn around a few struggling productions, Ron has decided to start his own television production company. Ron was born in the U.S. but grew up in Paris with his once famous mother and his brother Robbie. He gobbled up American cinema however he could, and when he was old enough, returned to Hollywood to attend film school. He brings a special kind of charisma and an eye for the unusual shots, particularly when it comes to comedy. Those he's worked with. Okay. Have gone on record as saying he's an attentive director who can work with actors to make sure the timing of jokes lands perfectly. Ron plans to pitch new shows to major television studios as soon as 1986. Until then, he plans to find the right project. I was going to say, I think he's the older brother, and I'll tell you why in a minute. It does confirm it here, but he's occasionally called upon his younger brother for script punch-ups and has thought about bringing him into the fold. That's simply because he embezzled from the company RR Productions, and then it said he fled to Paris, where he grew up. Oh, okay, yeah. But basically his brother already had all of the, he had the company set up before he was able to gamble on it. So Robbie is the younger brother. All right, here we go. So Ronald Roottree. Let's go by Ronald. Ronald Roottree, who is a director. And then we have Robert Roottree, We don't know what his occupation is yet. However, we do have pictures. Let's go to the pictures. Wasn't French court a synonym for it being a sham of a trial? I actually do think that is a thing now that you mention it. Oh, by the way, I thought this was funny. I didn't think about this until afterwards. This is crossed out here with a fish. I was trying to figure out why the fish was there. It's a red herring. Okay. Where's the picture of Gwen with her kids? Here. Let's zoom in on this. All right. So clearly this is the older brother. He's in film school. So this is Ronald and Robbie. So Robbie, you are the younger brother. And Ronald, you are the older brother. All right. And maybe a producer for the older one. That's a good question. I think they did actually say at some point, didn't they? Okay. I'm not sure. I mean, we could try to put it in. We cannot put it in because there's no producer in the list. So whatever his occupation is, I don't think we have it. Now, the interesting thing is that I'm confident in Ronnie at this point. Although, wait a second, he started... Guys, he's a director, but see, I've run into this before. So, like, he owned his own law firm, but we don't mark him as an owner. We mark him as a lawyer. So, I mean, this guy, he owned his own. He started RR Productions. Is he a director or is he an owner? Like, do we have him as, like, CEO? Do we have him as... Like, I feel like we probably leave him as director because that's what they... Self-taught screenwriter. Oh, he was a screenwriter, wasn't he? They did say that. Oh, guys, we got some stuff. Good call, Phoenix. These 3 entries are correct and have been locked. Hey. Booyah.
You're listening to
It's time for your headlines. Once an hour, every hour, on the 45. It's a bizarre development to an already tragic tale. In the wake of the accident that took his life, some of Carl Roottree's belongings have apparently gone missing. Most notably, a framed photo of the Roottree family from the mid-1970s that Carl had on his office wall. We interviewed a local psychologist about who would do such a thing and why. For that article, search online for WRTD News. Again, that's WRTD.
Well, that's interesting. Do you suppose it's because this lady that keeps showing up at our door stole this framed photo? All right, we actually do have another piece of evidence. Which I figure... Okay, I didn't figure it was going to show up there, but... Your local investigative jazz radio station... Investigative jazz? During their news segments, at 45 minutes on the hour, they have been talking about the plane crash. This most recent hour... Oops, I bonked my microphone. This most recent hour, they also talked about a picture taken from Carl's office after the plane crash and promised an interview online with a psychologist. During the interview, it's revealed there wasn't a break-in. Instead, someone with a key to the office took the picture after discovering the pipes burst due to the recent storm. It means it was likely someone close to the family who was aware of the photo's history and wanted to save it. The psychologist, however, also goes on to posit the culprit had an alternate agenda, specifically because nobody in the family has come forward to say they have it in their possession. A comment below the article says, "Don't believe their lies. This is just another instance of the Roottree curse being a real true thing." I bet you Carl was murdered and the picture had evidence on it. I've not heard of the curse. Let's look it up. There's a long, rambly conspiracy website with very small, very red text on a black background that says the Roottrees are cursed. It has been very recently updated with the following. Important update. With Carl and Brenda and their girls, that makes 5 new deaths. Not only that, but 3 of the 5 presidents of the... Okay, so there were 5 presidents of the Roottree Company have died mysteriously. They say Guy's car was hit by a drunken driver in 1982, but nobody was arrested. Then Ernie Madison Jr., or Madsen, stepped down. Was he poisoned? Now just this week, Carl died in a plane crash. Okay, so we now have the 5 presidents. So Carl, dear Carl, you are President the 5th. And I am confident of that now. All right, so then we have... I see party poppers and I see GG's over in the Twitch chat. Thanks, guys. All right, so Carl was definitely the 5th. Let's go back here. Okay. So it was of course it was Elias. Then it went to Zach Morden, and then it says Guy, whoever Guy was. Somebody goes by Guy, and then Ernie Madsen Jr. I believe was over. I swear we had. No. That's right. It's here. One of these is Ernie Madsen Jr. The problem is we were not sure. We have Ernie Madsen Jr. and there was a Samantha and Ernest Madsen had 2 kids. One was Ernie Madsen Jr. and the other one was a sister. I don't know which order they come in because obviously if it was 2 brothers, Ernie Madsen Jr. would be first based on the rules of this specific game. But it's a sister, so I don't know which order they come in. All right, hang on. Let's keep reading. And then Carl. Okay. There's another entry that claims if you connect the dots in the pattern of the 5 pieces wrapper, it creates a Mayan ruby skull, a secret message meant to subliminally scare people away. The post before this has a link to a site. Well, okay, let's copy a few things here. We're going to paste them. All right, let's get rid of Brother Trouble. I think we did all this stuff up at the top too. I'm going to leave that because we have to go back to that at some point. All right, the post before it has a link to a site that talks about how Earth has 4 corner simultaneous 4 daytime cubes. The author of this site seems to... What? An entry from a few months ago claims that the owner of the site received an email from Chris Raff, 75 at prodigy.us, asking him to take down his site with faked proof that Ernie Madsen Jr. actually had a heart condition and wasn't poisoned. The owner claims that although the proof looked quite credible, he knows the proof was fake because he is an expert at creating fake evidence. So we have Rafferty's. We should also look up Ernie Madsen Jr. Apparently... We should also look him up in periodicals because we have him as, and they mentioned that anytime there's a, the Business Watch is supposed to cover like changes in major businesses and stuff like that. Usually the junior firm comes first, but yes. Yeah. So in the game, it told us that the Roottrees, that if they give a junior, it's always the oldest brother. I don't remember I don't remember if it's on the board or if it was in something else, but it's very specifically told us that. So I just don't like I said, I don't know because there's a sister. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to probably venture out on a limb here and say that potentially Ernie might be the younger of the 2 because, well, maybe not. I was going to say because there's a picture here, but I was thinking the picture, yeah, whatever the case may be, that's the spouse. I don't know what I'm saying. Disregard everything I just said. All right, here we go. La la la. We'll have to look up Ernie Madsen. The first entry is from 1996 and is a blurry picture of the Roottree Candy Company factory, seemingly taken by the website's author from behind a fence and through some trees. It seems that Operation RT-29 is real. I witnessed it from a helicopter. I witnessed a helicopter land on February 29th, 1996. The website footage says all images and ideas by Thomas Overwood. Okay, there we go. Let's go. I want to search Ernie Madsen first in the periodical's Business Watch. Find an article from December 1995. Root. President to take over Root. Wait, he's the president of Root as well? Due to heart illness, Ernie Jr. stepping down as president of Roottree at the start of the second quarter of 1996. His second cousin Carl, president of sister company Root and former Watchman of the Year, will take over. It's been 13 years since Ernie was forced to step into the role of president unexpectedly. Back then, not much was known about the man other than his full name. In the years since, it has taken on a bit of a reputation as a real-life Wonka. He's known as a bit eccentric and reclusive, opting to be called simply Ernie Jr. and to forego the typical luxuries of the average Roottree. But in our estimation, he's been a shrewd businessman with an eye for sweets. Ernie Jr. has led Roottree to record profits by developing new products, including the ever-popular Maple Crisps, and by spearheading the formation of Root with his cousin in 1982 after learning of Brenda Rootree's power in the fashion community. Oh, okay. So he was a... All right. Pablo got you frozen yogurt. Well, it's not a bad thing every now and then. Guys, this is a sad story. I think I told you guys in the past that I said, like, my go-to snacks, which is why I never buy them. They're chips, which I know, I think in the UK you guys call them crisps. So I'm talking about little, like, potato chips. And ice cream. I think I'm becoming lactose intolerant. Ugh, gosh, it's awful. Anyways, so, Ernie. So, Ernie, do we know where you exist here? You are, no, that's right. We do. That's what I was just talking about. We don't know if you're this one or this one. And we don't know Samantha. We don't know your occupation yet. Also, we have the free generation. We have a bunch of them that are the free spirits or whatever they're called. We have a bunch of their faces. We could probably start pulling. Okay, we don't have as many as I thought. There's rather a lot of them. I was gonna say, I thought we could probably start pulling them out of this photo, but there's so many of them. It's this one. Goodness. Okay. So, where are we at here? More things to look up is where we are. We'll copy that. We'll search this. I don't know if this is a thing or not. Let's spider search it. Nothing relevant. All right. Who's Thomas Overwood? Thomas Overwood seems to have a few different sites about mysterious deaths and curses. In addition to the Roottree Curse website, you also find one about the truth behind Spirit Cola, which claims that Spirit stands for Satan's Plague, is returning in 2000. Okay. I can see if you turn Spirit into an acronym, Satan's Plague is returning in 2000. And that the year 2000, anyone who's drunk Spirit Cola will die. Another website is Stock Markets and the Devil's Numbers, which claims that if you multiply any stock's price by 666, then also multiply the current year by that same stock's price, then add those two numbers together and divide by the entire total by the stock price, and finally subtract the current year, you always end up with 666. You started with 666. You could do anything like that if you start. Okay, never mind. All right, Thomas Overwood. I don't know that I have anything else about you. Do we know anything about Guy Roottree? What about in Business Watch? Because You became a president. Who do we have listed on our list? There's a guy, Hudson. Small article from 1977. Guy Hudson, along with his twin sister, are no strangers to the public when it comes to Roottrees snacks. They both appeared in the company's advertisements as children during the Boys and Girls Agree era. Now Guy is taking over the Roottree company at the end of the year. Who would have known that one of those two adorable redheads? Guy credits his mother and father, Angie and Christopher. I think you belong here. Christopher Hudson. I don't know where you go from there. Well, it says what your sister's name is. Did it not? Guy's taking over the Roottree company. Oh no, it doesn't say. It just says twin sister. Angie and Christopher with providing his, he credits his mother and father, Angie and Christopher, with providing his fiery due, arguing over everything but chocolate would grow up to take over the whole company. Who would have known that one of those two adorable redheads arguing over everything but chocolate would grow up to... Okay, I got it. Guy's uncle and current president, Zachariah, has decided to take an early retirement to focus on traveling the world with his wife. Zach was quoted as saying, "Now that our daughters have started families of their own, Clara and I plan to reflect on a life well lived. Guy is new to the business world, but he's family. We at Roottree have faith in his innovative ideas, and he's eager to share them with the world. We like to think that Boys and Girls Agree, and he's ready to succeed." All right, so Clara is your wife's name. Clara Lansing. So we got Zachariah is married to Clara Lansing. Now we just... All right, so this is the generation below Zach. Do we have redheads? Where's my evidence? Yes. Here's our twins, guys. I just don't know which is the older one. That was the search in, periodicals. What about Guy? Fancy Flavors was an addition to the 5-piece product line for less than a year in 1979. It was Guy Hudson's first and historically most cited move as president of Roottree, and an attempt to cater more towards what he thought the average person wanted. Guy looked at his own wealth, which was a source of envy for others, and decided to tap into the idea that if they added fancy flavors to 5 pieces, anyone could live like the wealthy. The philosophy led to a flavor in 5 pieces that was meant to mimic caviar. Ugh. Why would you do that to candy? 5 pieces sold less that year than it had in any other year except in some foreign markets. It was very quickly announced that caviar was meant to be a limited flavor and would go back to normal as soon as possible. Okay. Nope. No caviar 5 pieces. So... a lot of times twins have the same first initial, right? We don't. Apparently your name's Bonnie Hudson. All right. Let's look you up anyway. I doubt you're probably in Business Watch. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, Tara. That's disgusting. All right, I'm assuming your sister's name is Bonnie. But I don't have confirmation of that. Wait, did we not read this? We may not have actually gotten to everything yet. I think it's funny they call it investigative jazz. All right, what else do we have to look up here? I looked up Thomas over... Oh, Operation. This was important. All right, here we go. You find more conspiracy websites. Some people out there claim that the Rootrees are changing the candy recipe to include more and more chemicals, and that this was done in cooperation with bad actors from an unknown government. They claim that due to a loophole in the calendar, it is possible to get away with nearly any crime on a leap day, so long as it isn't discovered until after the day is over, and that every 4 years on a leap year, the Roottree Company hosts a meeting with foreign agents to conspire to poison our children. Their proof is that Roottree candies contain polyglycerol polyrisinolate. Sure. An ingredient of the candy that wasn't there when it was first released. They claim it is added in an attempt to addict people and eventually induce mind control. So not to induce mind control necessarily, but that's my understanding about a lot of things in culture these days. They put chemicals in to make them addictive so that you want to go back and get all sorts of candies and pop sugary drinks and all of those kinds of things. Fast food, terrible. The website claims to sell pills that counteract this effect for children that have already eaten the Roottree candy in the past. You can do an additional search for polyglycerol polyrisinolate, and it seems to be an emulsifier in chocolates approved by the FDA and widely used across many products. All right, so it notes there that I've already done the additional search, so I don't think I need to do this. That was in reference to caviar flavor 5 pieces, Anne, is what that pukey face was for. We're gonna spider search this name. Oh, installing Pixpop. Whoa, we're getting... I searched an email address. You find a simple page called The Art of Rafferty, copyright 1997, on Prodigy that lists the author's email address as chrisraff75@prodigy.us. Below a bunch of GIFs that say under construction, there are a few art pieces. The first is a painting caption, me and my fiance. That is not how that's spelled. I wonder, it's not the first time where we've seen typos in here, but some of them, they're like quotes from people. So I wonder if that's intentional or like, I don't think this is actually a word spelled this way. Me and my fiance Lulu, a painting I did for my first year of college that I plan to give her when we get married in May. Go Tartans. There's an odd collage called Cousins, which seems to be made up of 3 scrambled images. The accompanying artist's statement says, we had to create a piece of art about our family. I asked as many of my extended family of cousins for their pictures as I could, as many as I could. Even some I've never met. Only a few of them got back to me, and my teacher said I wasn't allowed to use pictures of Raina, Riley, or Rose, so I had to get creative and use only my 3rd cousins. This includes Davy, he swims for Yukon, and Bethany's yearbook picture, she's Davy's younger sister, and Stephanie, who's only a child. Chris's artwork has been added to your evidence, but the cousins photo will need to be unscrambled before you can use them. You've downloaded a new application, Pixpop, to edit the photos. Oh, guys, this sounds fun. Where is it? Oh, guys, let's do a thing. Pixpop. I like it. I need to go the other way. Maybe not. Where does your hair fit in here? Sort of there? Okay. I'm just clicking, by the way. There's nothing really to this other than to click. Printing cousin portrait. Okay, we got it. Now let's go to Pixpop and let's go back to rotated. Let's put you, like, right side up. Seems to be appropriate. Let's put your neck below your head. Presumably that's where that goes. Your jeans should probably be below your shirt. Unless you are anatomically incorrect. Not part of your shirt here yet. What else? Which piece is wrong here? Because it didn't print the photo. Your cat left you for Pablo. Can you blame it? Seems correct to you too? It doesn't say it's fixed though. Oh, I see it. I see it. It's this piece. And cousin sliced. Oh gosh, guys. Oh no, it's one of the... Okay. All right. We can do this. Okay. I got an arm. These two actually go together. I just don't really know what they are. Where's your shoulder, per se? Good luck. You're on your own on this one, Hawk. Thanks a lot, Dara. I feel so alone. Whoops, 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 whoops. What did the duck just pop up for? A hint? In case it's too difficult? Maybe. Is this the other half of your chest? What is this? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. I'm assuming this is the other half of his hand. Okay, and then where's all this stuff go? Oh, you go over here, I think. these guys. Presumably here. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. There, I helped. Oh, goodness, you guys are funny. Oh, that had notes on it. Hang on. Where did that go? Here it is. Davey, he swims for Yukon. Bethany's yearbook photo, and Stephanie, who's an only... Okay, so no, these are... So, Davey and Bethany, but we don't know... 3 pictures, part of Chris Rafferty's cousins. You reassembled this one for the third. It's Inspect Chris's art project. He's redheaded. You see that? Is the other girl redheaded? I got a blonde and a brunette for the other ones. I'm not sure. This art piece was found on the portfolio of college student Chris Rafferty. It was referred to as self-portrait of me and my fiance. Oh, yes. Here. The sick means that this is a typo. Chris and Lulu. All right. Let's hop back in here. All right. Well, let's find the Raffertys. I've got 2 branches here that this could be. This could be Chris and this could be Lulu. We marked this in as Katrina. I don't know if I'm comfortable leaving that there, though. Although I should put a note in. So we don't forget about it. We don't know who else Clark married is the issue. All right, let's go back to the evidence. $97, fine. All right, so who else has... Yeah, there's a lot of kids till you get to that section. Also, I've been trying to figure out, does this mean... Oh, yes, adoption. I was wondering what this icon meant. I never hovered over it before. Okay. All right, so, Carl, you are President the 5th. We had Ernie Roottree, or Ernie Madsen. We still can't fill in, though, because we don't know... Goodness. Let's look this up quickly. Find a few conspiracy websites that claim the Mayan ruby skull is a symbol of death. The alleged proof is a blurry photo of a reddish shape that is supposedly a cave painting from South America. According to legend, discovered beneath the painting were bones from hundreds of people and animals. One site also mentioned the photographer who took the picture died when their boat capsized after crashing into a skull-shaped rock. Amongst the spinning skull gifts, you find no sources or verifiable details to back up any photos or claims. To you, the blurry photo looks more like an egg than a skull. All right, fine. Okay. What else can we find for Ernie? All right, let's search Butler County Times. Nothing relevant. Business Watch. I think we already read all of this. Did we figure out where Guy Hudson lives on this list? This has to be them, right? So Angelica was married to Christopher Hudson. And then Guy Hudson was the one that had the older sibling. Or he was the older sibling, I mean. He had a younger sister. They were twin siblings. All right, so I'm going to assume you are Guy. And you were President the Fourth. President the Third. He takes over from Zachariah, and then Ernie Jr. takes over after him. I'm assuming then you would be Bonnie Hudson. But then you got divorced and remarried, and these might be backwards though, because again, they're listed as twins, but that doesn't guarantee that he's the older of the twins. Yeah, he's the one that made the caviar flavor. I think we looked up Bonnie. Oh, here we go. We had not looked up Guy Hudson in Butler County Times. Although the Butler County Times does not archive their obituaries, they did a front page story in 1982 about Guy Hudson and his wife Patricia dying in a car accident. The story itself is surprisingly light on relevant details due to the recency of the accident. Police reported that the crash was caused by an unidentified driver who swerved in front of the Hudson's car, causing them to brake hard and veer off the interstate. Although Guy was a somewhat controversial president, foul play is not suspected. There were witnesses who reported that the vehicle which instigated the wreck was speeding, swerving between lanes, and cutting off other drivers as well for at least 5 or 6 minutes before the tragic accident. One witness says, "It could have been any one of us who they eventually ran off the road. The aggressor fled after the accident. The police have few leads other than make and model." Guy had been president of the Roottree Company for only 4 years. Through an undoubtedly volatile period in the company's history, he and his wife had no children. Okay. Then we are very wrong about this. Wait, she died in the car wreck too? Yes. You don't belong here. These ones had 3 kids. This one got divorced and then remarried and adopted a kid. So unless he was married and then it says that they did not have kids, quote unquote, because they... Who doesn't have kids? So any children here should have the last name Morden. This is Angelica Morden. Anything else we want to check here? I mean, she wasn't in any of this stuff. I think we got this from something that What's-Her-Face said. So we made the assumption because over here, Lauren keeps mentioning something about Angie, and I assume this was her. Is there any other person? No, that has to be Angelica. Angelica Morden and Christopher Hudson. I don't remember where we got the husband's name, but that's okay. So they had to have had... When were these... Hang on. $1982. It is possible. It would be unlikely, though, that they could have fallen in this generation. Like, it would be weird. Because they would have been the generation after Carl, and then it would have, like, reverted back up to him, the company. I'm confused about where he falls in. I'm real confused. I'm just not sure where to put him. And we still know... Why don't we fill in? Oh, we can't. We can't do it because we don't have photos anyway. I was gonna say we could put in Ernie Jr. and the sister, but... Alright, is there any other evidence that we have not looked at? This is Davey, he calls him. What do we have on our list of people as far as Dave? We got David Kellogg the 3rd and 4th. Did we see the name Kellogg yet? I don't feel like we have. You know what? Let's search for him because he's apparently swimming. Are you frozen? I don't see any freezing on my end. Are you guys still good? Or is it your... It might be your internet, I think. Anne, are you still catching the stream? All right, we're gonna go ahead and look up Whoops. I thought maybe since he's swimming for Yukon, seems better now. Okay. Okay, no go on that. What else do we have? Okay, the best piece of information it has right now. Stephanie Jones. This is from CM. I'm not sure who we have that's CM specifically at the moment. I don't know that we have one, actually. Did we ever figure out who Ronnie Roottree was married to? I know the saxophone's playing again. I was debating about keeping it. I don't know that that's the same song, but... That's right. That was Robbie. This is just Ron. Let's check the periodicals. Business Watch, Butler County Times, Modern Music. I don't think he's in there. Let's do Silver Screen Magazine. Did it give us his wife's name? I guess it doesn't really help us even if we do have it, right? Because I'm trying to piece in some people whose last names are not Roottree. Oh, by the way, Miracle Roottree was not originally, or he was not originally named Miracle. He was named Michael. I saw that in something, or I listened when I was listening to it back. I don't even know what we were reading. But I was wondering if he showed up on anything under... You gotta go. Peace out, Tara. Enjoy the rest of the stream, everyone. Thank you. Hope you have a good night. Good luck on your second interview. Somewhere in here it said that his name was actually, he dropped Michael and started going by Miracle Jr. after his father, but that was not his first name was Michael. Also, Eli, this looks like a mechanic shirt. I'm trying to remember, were you a mechanic? That's right. I think he went by Eli. He got married and had a kid. All right, let's take a look here. This is still like 6 connections here. Why? Oh, here we go. We hadn't looked him up in Butler County Times. Jim Roottree seems to have left Butler County by the time Jim and Diamond gained notoriety. The only article you find is from 1979, and the article is titled, Former Butler County Resident Enters Disco Charts. The article came out right as Rollin' On Down to the City was hitting its peak popularity. There isn't much to the article other than what you already know, but it does mention that at the time, Jim and Diamond had a 2-year-old daughter named Candy. The writer of the article did not seem thrilled to report the fact and called the name a bit too on the nose. All right, so they have a daughter. If they're only reporting one daughter, or one child, right? This should be the oldest one. Candy Roottree. Oh, we locked this in now, which means we should be able to put the other... Correct me if I'm wrong. Clark? Clark, you're still not locked in. Why are you not locked in? I thought we locked him in. All right, so you were Jim and Diamond, so I'm going to put that there, and hopefully the next time we lock it in, that gets locked in as well. If it doesn't, then something's weird with that photo. All right, and then we got Candy Roottree down here. All right, where are we at here? One of the final entries called Clark from Lauren Rootree's diary, written in 1964. Clark's getting married, in my opinion, far too young. He's barely 18, for goodness sakes. And Danielle isn't much older. Why did I not have that filled in? Because we know he got remarried to... He got remarried to Jane LaRue, but that had to have been his... She's complaining he's too young. That has to have been his first wife. He's barely 18, blah, blah, blah. Clark, like the rest of his generation, is a free spirit. What else do you call a group of kids growing up with more money than any one person can spend? They all aspire to be musicians and artists and dancers of all sorts of nonsense. The only one who's any discipline is Carl, but that's because Pop forced Clancy to send him to the academy. Pop forced Clancy. This is Pop, this is Clancy. Okay. That makes sense then. Maybe I'm just getting old, but our generation was never so bad. My brothers all seemed to pursue paths of knowledge, and the most rebellious thing any of us ever did was to bring home someone who would be illegal to marry if we lived anywhere south of Pennsylvania. Pop seems to have gotten over because Edward is set to take... Okay. Edward's set to take over retirement. Edward. So what we know here is that... I'm going to guess that what that means is that he married somebody that was not white. Jordan Luke TV, welcome back. No. I would love to just be able to skip songs permanently. Okay. Did we get all of Gwen's stuff? We're done with that. Father married and changed, we got that. Mother's Roottree, we have that. Yeah, basically we're kind of done with Jim and Diamond, at least with the information that we have. Mother's family is the Cassells. Did we mark that in? Sarah Cassell. All right, there we go. Okay, so where are we at here? After that, an entry titled Dynasty from Lauren Roottree's diary written in 1958. It focuses on the day her grandfather Elias announced he would step down as president of the Roottree Candy Company in the meeting to determine his successor. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. Granddad was furious. None of his sons would take over as president, but that's what he gets for holding on to it for so long with architects, preachers, and lawyers. We know that's the sons. Nobody's got time for candy. So with the 5 pieces refusing to step up, it came down to us next gens. Pop argued at length that the company should stay with our branch of the family since we still have the Roottree name. I'm not even sure Clancy would have wanted it, but he's the one who was volunteered. Said it ended up going to Zach, even though his surname doesn't match the candy. He's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. I'm not sure how that's relevant to running a company, but Granddad has always had very particular views when it comes to his bloodline. I asked Clancy if it ever came up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach. Wait a second. Wait a second. No wonder some of these are not getting locked in. And that explains why we can't find the place for the Hudsons. Okay, hang on. We need... So Angelica Morden and Zachariah Morden need to swap places. And then Clara Lansing needs to go here. We know that's a Hudson because we were trying to find Clara Lansing and Zachariah Morden. And then we will pick your face for over here. And you are President II rather than housewife. Because... And then we have... I don't have a photo for you yet. But I think you're a housewife because that was what we determined in one of the things. You are Angelica Morden. And then you get married to Christopher Hudson. Now, from there, here we go. Here we go. Now it makes sense. Oh, it makes sense now. Okay. Here, this is where the Hudsons, because they died in a car wreck. So Guy Hudson, you belong here. And you were married to... somebody. It was in the Butler County Times or something? Patricia. Oh, but we don't know what your first name is, or your last name is. So we could put you here. And then you were President III. We just don't have a picture for you yet. Although we do know... Hang on a second. So the sister was older. The sister was older. These are the twins. We do have a picture. We flagged them. Hang on. So you are Hudson as well. Bonnie, presumably. I don't know what your occupation is, but I think this is you. And then this would be you. Ah ha ha ha! We did it, guys. Does that bring the lady back again? You deserve a gold star. You locked in everyone on the notable Rootrees list. Booyah. What? You were supposed to be coming at the door, I thought.
So, you may have heard the news. Some of Carl's things have gone missing. That includes the pictures and mail I brought you earlier. I promise I didn't steal it. But I did borrow it. I'll return it once we're done. Let me deal with my family in the meantime.
Your family?
Oh, I guess that means I've officially confessed.
Who are you?
I'm a Roottree. I assure you I have a reasonable explanation for the secrecy. I'm about to do something big the family doesn't approve of.
Sounds sketchy.
If you could just wait a little bit longer, I'll tell you more. In person. I'll return after 15 more blood relatives.
Shouldn't you know your family tree better than I would? Okay. Okay. I'm just kind of taking a look here. So we did get the one photo locked in here for... Okay. Yeah, so this locked in for... So we do have the correct photo for James here, which means we've got the correct photo for Clark. So that little... the little thing here on the flower, that was key. However, you're clearly not considered... Before we move on to whatever piece of information we have... Clearly, we do not have your occupation correct. Let's look him up again. He used to make music with Clark Rafferty. They mentioned an album called These Times. We found you somewhere else. Let's see here. Yeah, they wouldn't have been in any of these other ones. This would have been about... What was the name of the song they did together? These Times. I'm not sure what his actual profession is because it's not locking him in. I thought maybe he was just like songwriter. Maybe we've got to figure that out later, but obviously musician is not correct. Let's just move you to unknown occupation for now. And because we haven't locked him in, we can't put any other photos with him, even though I think we found some. All right, so we have names for these sisters. We just don't know which one is which. I wish we had some more information. Although red runs down through this family, right? Because he's kind of reddish hair. Hang on. Oh, the freaking photo's black and white. She looks brunette to me, but she looks blonde, if I'm being honest. All right, what's this new piece of evidence? I mean, that's not new evidence. We still have to figure out where this Tessa Roottree... Our newest fixer learned all there is to know about cars from her Roottree Motors parents. Did we determine who actually owned Roottree Motors? Let's look in Business Watch. Butler County Times. Okay. Let's take a look at the photo again for the next generation. Is this one? Did we lock this in? Is this... No, we didn't. For some reason, I thought this was Elias, but there's not a second photo location for him. By the way, I did mention at one point, I think this... I was trying to figure out, because they said Miracle, not Miracle Jr. or not Miracle the Third was in this, but Miracle was in this photo. And I pegged it as this one because the fact that he was wearing glasses. I did read back, or when I listened back to the stream, I'd forgotten that actually Miracle was healed. His eyesight was healed. So when he had an eye patch on initially, in this photo, he actually is, supposedly his sight was supposed to have been healed. So you are that guy. Am I looking at the wrong generation here? I think that's the right generation. All right, so one of these is... that's Angelica with the red hair, because somebody said that the kid credits the red hair from her parents. Okay, we've got Angelica Morden, which should be correct. I'm just not sure which all the rest of you are. We'll just take your photos. At this point, I say we just take them. On this one anyway, I feel like we need to get some of these solidified. We do have him correct. She should be correct. I wonder if you are Miracle and then you are Miracle Jr. I'm gonna speculate that that's the case, because he got this whole thing of like wearing these crazy ties, right? There we go. That's what we're gonna do for now. And then we also need, at some point, we need to get the 5-piece generation. Oh, we've already got your photos though. I wish I knew which was which. It's probably on this side though, right? Like, these are very fair hair, like they're gingers. Oh, but there's a whole bunch of blonde. I still am not sure. I mean, some black and white. Let's take that out, because the other Margolite down here, she had Gwen as a kid, who's blonde, and then she had a bunch of blondes. Okay. All right, what's our most important pieces of evidence here? Still the stinking campaign mailer. The only M's that we have, I think, so far in here are the Mordens, right? Oh no, we got Madsons as well. All right, so you guys have kids. There has to be more Mordens in here. Caroline and Gwendolyn. These are not likely to be found on the internet, but let's look them up anyway. Caroline is listed on a few art websites without much detail. She seems to be associated with a movement called PFLAG. An organization found in the 70s, the acronym stands for Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. Okay. Carolyn Gwendolyn Morden. Gwendolyn Morden. Gwen... I want to make sure I spelled it right. Yeah, I spelled it right. Oh, there was the... Okay. This has to be Stephanie, right? Because these are biological children. And Stephanie had 2 moms. So you are Stephanie. Do we have your photo? Take your picture. Do now. And you married whoever the dude is in the picture. I guess I could take his photo right away. Stephanie Landon or Cattrall, I don't know. But you are a politician. And you married this dude. Don't know what your name is, but did we ever look up Stephanie Jones? We should really do that. Be sure to read the full article. Yeah, I think that's how we might have gotten the periodical for the Butler County Times. Stephanie Jones born Stephanie Landon. Okay. Until her local marriage to Brian. Okay, we did have this. But I couldn't fill it in at the time. Brian Jones. And you are Stephanie Landon. Okay. Then that means probably whoever you are, your last, well, I imagine your last name's Landon then, right? Because your last name should be Morden. Yes, we know it's a CM. Whoever this is, their name is C.M. Morden. Carolyn Morden. You belong there. Which must mean President III needs to come out of here. You must be Gwendolyn by default. And then you must be a Landon. Well, I guess actually that's just your name at birth. That doesn't necessarily mean you took on any of the names of the people that adopted you. Okay, we're all right. Hang on. I need to go back to this. Until her marriage to local business, has lived under Butler County her whole life. I grew up in a home without a father with my mother and her partner. Okay, her mother, Carolyn, is a local artist. All right, yes. I think that's who we put in, right? Carolyn, yes. Carolyn Morden is a local artist, so let's look her up. Right, we already did that. Is there anything for art here? There we go. You find a cover story about local art installations, including one by Carolyn Morden. There isn't much about Carolyn as a person. This is mostly a listing of art in Butler County. She seems to get top billing. Accompanying the story, there's an image of Carolyn standing beside a large metal sculpture of a mermaid. It is captioned, Carolyn standing next to her sculpture, Atlantis Burden. This sculpture is one of many works featured in her upcoming book, Self-Portrait, Art and Beauty of Women. According to a quote further down, Atlantis's burden is meant to symbolize a society split by indecision over whether women should be equals or something to protect. The picture on the front page has been added to your evidence. Cool. That means you're Carolyn. We can now add you. Is there anything else of relevance here? I mean, we can look up this Atlantis and then this, the book. We probably should look up the book, Self-Portrait, Art and Beauty of Women. But we're going to put your photo on your face. And you are an artist. Oh my gosh, guys. We're flying through now. Okay, let's slow it down just a little bit. Booyah. I love how they're using phrases from like the night. I mean, this is supposed to be happening in 1998, right? And we're throwing out booyahs there. It just makes sense. All right, we need to look up your book, ma'am. Where is your book? Self-Portrait, Art and Beauty of Women. Public Library. Undo that. This is Carolyn Morden. Mostly black and white pictures of Carolyn's art. The centerpiece is a series of full-color nude self-portraits at different ages, stretching... Thank goodness they didn't start printing those photos. Wait, what happened to my message? Did you send a message? Oh. Anne, what did you delete? It was just an emote? Okay. I think I see it. I think I still see it. Yeah, I still see it in my streaming software. Anyways, thank goodness they don't start when my printer doesn't start going with full color nudes. This would no longer be a family-friendly stream. In the intro, Caroline talks about influences. She was one of the youngest in her generation, and in her late teens, she felt betrayed when her sister Gwendolyn and cousin Bonnie gave up on dreams to settle for boring men. She especially dislikes her brother-in-law, Dr. Wilson, who she calls completely bogus. Their marriages led her to double down on her passions, art and the environment. She even married a man who was the opposite of boring, which was an... Wait. The opposite of boring, which was an overcorrection. Wait, so the first marriage was a man? She comes out strongly against the Roottree Company's effect on the local environment and rules how she was not able to convince her father, Zach, to make changes to policy. She also explains that her marriage to Mark led to the most volatile moments in her life, all negative, and the only good thing that he ever gave her was a daughter. Leaving them all behind for good has pushed her to pursue her true loves, art and the beauty of women. She was married... Okay. Oh, okay. So Mark Land, all right. I see now. Okay, this string does actually mean this is their child, but then she adopted, and this is why she says she grew up with two mothers. Okay, I'm caught up now, folks. You were trying to reply and you somehow deleted it? Way to go, Anne. Anne, you're why we can't have nice things. Garietta should be here. We should blame Anne. All right. Her father, Zach. Yes, her father is Zach. All right. We've got her. I don't know who she's currently married to. Dedicated to Eloise and Stephanie. I'm gonna guess then that you are Eloise. We just got a name. Just a first name. We don't know nothing about you. All right, she says that she, however, hang on, let's go back to this. She felt betrayed when her sister Gwendolyn and cousin Bonnie. All right, who's Bonnie? Bonnie Hudson. It doesn't say who those men are, though. So here's Gwendolyn, who she's talking about. So that I assume that means then that they're housewives? Because she says that they gave up on their dreams. So is that what we can surmise from that? Gosh, we still have Samantha's tree is just a freaking mess. Okay, we've got a couple of you guys pegged with your faces. All right, Carolyn, if you are in the free spirit generation, we might be able to figure out who you are. Hang on, where's our picture? Picture. Glasses? Can we assume... Whoops. Am I on the right generation? This is always my thing. Am I on the right generation? I think so. Yes, I'm on the right generation. Okay. I'm going to say then that this is you. Maybe. Hopefully. All right, and then we have... She is a sister. Oh, wait, no, here's an artist. That makes way more sense because actually her hair actually matches then too. Hang on. Take back everything I said. I'm going with this one. Clark. I wish I knew your. Jeez, I wish I knew. All right, and then we have. Why do we not have extra spaces for them? Are they not in this photo? They may not have been in this photo. Why is this outlined in red? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 14 people in this generation. Whether that involves Samantha's or is a whole other story. How many people are in this photo? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 12. We did confirm this is Carl, so he's stuck in. This should be the redheads. We just didn't have her occupation at the time. Okay, where are we at here? I've read this several times now. Like, what am I missing from this? Clearly, at some point, something should tell us what occupation he has. We had you as a musician previously. You read something out loud there that you didn't add in. When did you make that comment? When I was staring at this photo of like all the people, or like when I was actually reading this? Something in the library book. Okay. Oh, she dislikes her brother-in-law, Dr. Wilson. Okay, I did read that. You are very correct. Okay, well now we've got another problem. Is it Jason or Steven or Zach? She was one of the youngest in her generation. In her late teens, she felt betrayed. She especially dislikes her brother-in-law, Dr. Wilson, who she calls completely bogus. Their marriages led her to double down on her passions for art and the environment. She even married a man who's the opposite of boring, which was an overcorrection. So it's a Wilson. I'm assuming then all of their kids are Wilsons, which is where all these Wilsons come from. Can we look up Zach Wilson? I'm sorry, Zach Wilson, Steven Wilson, Jason Wilson. I'm going to assume that Zach's probably one of the kids, and that's just because of the fact that her father's name was Zachariah, so possibly she would have named one of her kids after her dad. Dr. Stephen Wilson is a pediatrician who practices north of Pittsburgh. Although there are a lot of Stephen Wilsons and Dr. Wilsons, this one apparently found a way to game the search results as he pops to the very top every time. He claims his website claims that he's the pediatrician to the stars. The only evidence for this is that he apparently was the doctor to the Roottree sisters. There's a picture of him on his website as well as a picture of his 3 children. Okay, so this is the husband. The 3 of them look as though the photographer was holding them hostage. Regardless, the photos have been added to your evidence. There's also a quote that although credited to his child Jason, you might suspect might not be written by a 10-year-old. My dad is the best dad in the entire world. He treats every patient with world-class care. He will treat your children like you would me, my big brother, or my sister. Okay. So Stephen Wilson. All right, Stephen. Definitely written by a 10-year-old. Exactly. Okay. So you're Stephen. Or, Jason. Hang on. Jason? Now the question is, he says his big brother. We don't know which one's the oldest here. The picture has a date on it. It seems this was taken 2 years ago in 1996. All right, so we have Jason's picture. Do we have a student? That's what we're going with. Because he probably can't have an occupation at this point, right? We don't know which one of these is older. What's our other evidence here? He's pediatrician, huh? You look like you should be a dentist. You look like you should be a dentist. Looks like a douchebag. I agree, if I'm being honest. Okay. So we've got this tree is actually pretty good. We haven't locked in Mark or Eloise. We need to get through another locking session. So we got Jason. I mean, hypothetically, let's just roll with this. I was just gonna say, we could probably just brute force it. We locked in Eloise and Mark Landon. Booyah! All right, so then you must be... Where's your photo? There you are. You're the Wilson sister. Jim. I don't know what your occupation is. Presumably, if you're between these two, though, you are also student K through 12, right? I guess technically you could probably be a college student, honestly. If maybe he's graduating college. No, he would have to be graduating high school, right? It says it was taken 2 years ago. Because otherwise he would have an occupation that wasn't student college right now. So... Although that still could mean if that was taken 2 years ago, you could be a college. Oh, okay, let's not let's not overthink it for the moment. We'll see about if that's correct. Otherwise, you might be a college student. Fine. All right. So we got 2 kids here. We don't know your husband's name, and I think we looked up Bonnie Hudson. We couldn't work out who was the older of the two. Yeah, that could go either way. I mean, she could have already graduated and had come back for his graduation. Just the fact that she's shorter doesn't mean anything. I mean, obviously, because that's, you know, girls tend to be shorter. Yeah, we don't know anything about Bonnie Hudson. All right, what is our evidence here? What gives us the most information? Still this thing, huh? We looked this dude up. Let's look it up again. Better luck looking for specific album names or artists. All right, so this album is called Rollin' On Down to the City. I'm confident we already searched this. A review and interview from 1979 titled A Reluctant Hitmaker. A review and interview from 1979. Okay, so this is... Hang on. That's not a periodical? Okay. Diamond and I were C and J with my cousin. His ex, Clark, never knew his father. Blah, blah, blah. Brothers. Yes, we read this. The only thing Clark and I had in common was music. So we still haven't nailed down Clark either, by the way. I think, did we change his profession? Clark, where are you? No, we didn't pick one for you. Here. Oh, that's right. He writes jingles now. We did know that. Is there a jingle writer? Secretary, screenwriter, retail, public. You're not retail. Principal. We wrote you as a musician. Would it be considered an artist? Musician. Director, dancer, construction, comedian, chef, CEO, cashier, baby. We'll put you in as an artist. I think we had you in as an artist. Did you look at the company mentioned? You mean this? This we looked up. We looked up Raffertunes. Oh, he owns an advertising firm. I thought he was a jingle writer. Let's see. Okay. We did look it up. Because we have the... Clark was in his department store getting it. Yes. Yes, we have this. I remember this. It says that the one is like basically like ripping his kid's teeth out to be able to get the photo. Was that this, as a matter of fact? No. I don't know where it is, though. Do we have another page of stuff? Jingles are... Yeah, but normally, like, if you're, like, a head of an advertising company or you own an advertising... I don't feel like you're the person that writes the jingles. I feel like you hire somebody for that. Maybe it's just me, but anyway. Maybe that was it. No. Those kids are elsewhere. Let's look back at it again. Clark was in a department store getting a family portrait with his wife and children, and when his wife was trying to get the youngest Katrina to calm down for the picture, he had the idea. The photos... the photo is in the evidence. Oh, this one. You are... I don't know what your name is, but... I can put pictures in. I can't, All right. Now, Clark was in it. Yes. Okay. We still have a bunch of... Did we look at... TMS, what's he up to? Team Blast can tell you, brother. Trouble gossip. How to know if he's interested and win a trip to the set of a new movie. Serena Sweet 16, the candy girl, got serious about her inspiration and aspirations. Why does this have so many connections? Grandpa was a college professor. Yes, we know that. Maybe it has something to do with the photo of... So her grandfather would have been... Not the Free Spirit. He would have been Next Generation. He was a professor. Are we supposed to be able to surmise something from that? Like, you look studious. Does that mean that you are, in fact, professor? I mean, I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. Oh. Hey, guys. We just stretched and we got some stuff. Okay, we got that right. We didn't get the kids right, though, apparently. Oh, because they have additional information. All right. Now. Well, we only have a couple left in that generation. We literally have two. What do we know about Edward Roottree and Elias C. Roottree? Are you not Clark? Or Carl? Wait. Wait. Hang on. Miracle's supposed to be in this one, which the sister wasn't a fan of. Everyone was there except Gwen. Grandma insisted we include Sam, even though we didn't know why. All right, so one of these is Sam. That has to be you then. You're, well, actually... We actually haven't figured out which the other picture is of you. And then we still have the two boys. This one appears to be younger, right? I mean, that's a guess. All right, we finally got Clark locked in. That means we can apply that photo to you. All right, did we find anything? I seriously doubt a bunch of these are probably not going to find him in Starlit. We don't know anything about Edward, and then we also have Elias C. Not Elias. He looks very like his dad. We had gotten some information from Lauren about, but she didn't, I don't think she actually said, she said that Clark was raised a lot with Jim by EC. But I don't think that ever told us what. When was this article written? Only article you find is from 1979, and in 79 they had a 2-year-old, which means as of 1998, this kid was 22? 20. So we don't really know. Edward apparently never had children. Yeah, we're doing pretty well down the center section of the... Oh, and over here, actually. Do we have other Hudsons here? Oh, they wouldn't be Hudson. I need to know who Bonnie was married to. All right, what do we have as... What's our important evidence here? Oh my gosh, this dang rolling down city thing. Grandma Laura tells me he was really proud of everything we managed to accomplish. Laura. We already have Laura listed, so that's not for that. Why is this so important? Grandpa was a college professor. We have that. Professor. His older sister even wrote a book. Right, we know that that's Lauren. I don't know what else in there we could glean from that. I don't know what we're supposed to glean from this either. All right, here we go. All right, let's pop in here. We, of course, have... Okay, here's the assumption we're going to make here. These may be wrong. So, I got Ernie Madsen Jr. here. And Gwyneth Madsen. And then there's still a Madsen that you can select from. And obviously Gwyneth's last name, unless she would have kept it for whatever reason, her name when she got married wouldn't have still been Madsen. So there's somebody else... her kid would not have been... That's why I put Nicole under Ernie Madsen Jr. All right. Did we look up Ernie Madsen Jr.? Weren't you the one that took over? Ernie Jr. Former president of the Roottree Candy Company says he seemed to directly precede Carl Roottree, and the one website even says that he was Carl's mentor. He was apparently very successful as president, but not so much as a public figure. He was rarely seen in public and stepped down due to an illness in 1996. He has since passed away. So we did know that. We knew that he was president the 4th. We don't have a photo of him. But you're in the generation with... Yeah, I'm not sure which one. Let's just get the rest of these photos. What if we look up Ernie Jr. in these periodicals? Yep, we read that one. Carl is mentioned in the Butler County Times quite often, including an article that also mentions Ernie Jr. Most of the articles concerning Carl are not important. The plane crash is too recent to appear in these archives. One announces Carl's marriage to Brenda White in 1978. They were both in their early 20s. Another seems even more frivolous. Apparently in 1981, Carl got quite drunk at a charity event and broke his arm falling down some stairs. The article also mentions Ernie is from 1996, when Carl took over as the 5th president of the Roottree Candy Company from Ernie Jr. Ernie Jr. apparently liked to stay out of the spotlight and never appeared in the Butler County Times. Other than a few mentions here and there, the article does mention an illness as the reason Ernie Jr. is stepping down. Fine. That does not help me, game. So... I heard something weird behind me. I think my dog's trying to get into the closet. She's gotten a little weird since last week when, well, I mentioned I had to put her sister down because she was having seizures. My poor puppies, they were always had separation anxiety, so they were always in a pack. And now she is the only one remaining, so she's been acting a little weird since then. I feel bad for her. I keep trying to do fun things for her and take her on extra long walks and stuff. It's very sad. All right, so do we know... Poor little girl, for sure. We still have these pictures we unscrambled as well. We've got this girl. Bethany's yearbook picture, Davy's younger sister. So these two go together, and then Stephanie... who's an only child. So Stephanie has to be here somewhere. Chris Rafferty's cousins. Hang on, let's look at this. Whoa, let's calm it down now. Okay. And actually, we have Chris's photo. He married Lulu. He was a college student. Is he... So for his cousins, we have Davy and we have his sister. I don't think it actually says her name. It says... Oh, Bethany. Hang on, let's look here. Who do we have? Kellogg. We did run into that. Kellogg. So, if we have... These kids would be Roottrees. These kids would be Roottrees. Alright, so that leaves us over here. So this is going to be David Kellogg III, I do believe. And then, did it say... Bethany's the younger sister. So you are Bethany. Where's your face? I didn't take your picture yet, did I? And then we have Stephanie. All right, let's fill you in. You are Bethany Kellogg. You're probably a student. And then we have you as a college student. You are David the Fourth. I'm assuming. Now, the interesting thing is that we did not... We're not locked in yet. It said that's your yearbook photo. I don't know where Stephanie belongs. That was her name, right? Stephanie, who's an only child. Or are you Stephanie? You don't look like the Stephanie that's in that picture. You would have to be here. You would have to be Gwyneth's daughter. Catrell? You're a student as well? Let's see if this locks some stuff in here. It doesn't. That might mean these are backwards. Let's swap them. See what happens. Well, actually, okay, let's clear this for now. All we need to do is we need to try to lock in Stephanie, right? Although it could also be that the other sister over at that Bethany, that she is also a college student. Okay, so our tree's a little mixed up there. Okay, then that means then... Let's clear this. Gwyneth, you go over here, which means Ernie, you're going over here. Ernie Madsen Jr., President the Fourth. And Gwyneth, you were a housewife. And you married Catrell. Okay. All right, so then you have to be Nicole. Okay, Gwendolyn was supposed to be a housewife. We're going to go ahead We're going to put in the photos here. I'm going to put the blonde over with Gwen. Okay, these are clearly students. You have to be Roottrees, though, right? Or, I'm sorry, Rafferty's. Are there Rafferty's? Jessica and Katrina. I'm interested to know who this lady is, because he must have hyphenated his name, because these kids have Rafferty LaRue, which is weird to me, but whatever. All right. What do we have that is not locked in now? She retains the rights to run the farm and any all decisions related to it. I still don't know what that means. So she inherited the farm operations. I don't know. She's the only one left in the photo, though. Right? I still think this looks more like Lauren. This has to be Sam, right? Grandma insisted we include Sam even if we didn't want to. None of us understood why including Sam. I also didn't think it fair Miracle made it in since he's technically a 5-piece. I guess my inner child still holds a grudge after all of these years. One would almost think, though, that, like, these would be the siblings, right? Lauren and her, like, this one kind of seems like she's standing kind of weirdly off. They insisted the 4 of us stand together. Okay, so that is Lauren. Okay. So you are this, and you are this. And your occupation is farmer? Oh my gosh. Locked in the 5 pieces. So we got Margaret, Light, Samantha, and Gwendolyn Roottree. Oh, she's back.
On the phone, I said I owed you an explanation, but I can't reveal everything. Not yet. I'm sure this all seems like deception for deception's sake. So I'll try to explain why. It's true, I'm working with lawyers, but I'm on the verge of releasing a book. and it's not kind to the Roottrees. But with the plane crash, the publisher is rightfully worried, so they're doing their due diligence. That's why you're here. If I tell you the whole story now, we can't prove that. I hope you understand. That said, I can say that the work you're doing is, to my story, one spot on the tree is more important than the rest. Also, there are fewer Roottrees left. In a sense, that makes it easier. Use process of elimination. It's also harder to verify when you're right. I don't have any more evidence for you, but trust your intuition. You're getting closer and closer to the truth.
All right, guys, sorry about that. I actually have to head out for the evening. So, I apologize. That was a little abrupt at the end, but I am going to have to head out. So, thanks, guys, for joining me. We'll probably try to catch up here again in the very near future, and I will catch you guys in the next one.